Hello, I'm Bernard Hickey from interest.co.nz and welcome to a special report brought to you in association with Bank of New Zealand. Remember, this is our top 11 charts for 2011, where we find an interesting chart, dig through it, explain the story of the New Zealand economy and throw it forward for the next couple of years. And this chart is a doozy. This puts New Zealand in the same camp as the likes of Ireland, Greece, Spain and Portugal in terms of net debt. It's a bit of a surprise for many people because New Zealand is seen as safer than those guys who frankly are on the brink of bankruptcy. How is this possible? Well, this chart shows what's happening with net debt and net foreign debt. And we're right along here at the sort of 85% level, not too far off where the Greeks and the Portuguese and the Spanish are, and the Irish. The difference between us and them, if you like, is on the other axis, showing government debt. So our government debt is relatively low at around about 20% or so, rising to about 28%, but still relatively low. Our net foreign debt, 85%, rising towards maybe 90 or 100%. That's the difference. But it remains a vulnerability for New Zealand. We need to be careful about how we run our budget deficits and increase our foreign debt, or the foreign creditors might get nervous, particularly as our government debt rises. We are actually in a similar camp, the only difference being that our government debt isn't quite so bad. And this is the interesting point. Right back in 2007, we were in a very similar position to Ireland. Ireland also had low government debt, but high foreign debt. The difference between Ireland and New Zealand is that Ireland in 2008 guaranteed its banks. And over the last 2 to 3 years, those banks have all imploded, forcing hugely expensive bailouts by the Irish government of that banking system. New Zealand also guaranteed its banks in late 2008. However, the government guarantees have been phased out and our banks haven't collapsed, thanks in part to big capital injections by their Australian parents. But that's one to watch, and the big difference between Ireland and us is that our banks have not collapsed, unlike the ones in Ireland. But still a sense of how vulnerable we are, because again, we're right out here on the outlier when it comes to net foreign debt. I'm Bernard Hickey. That was the fourth in our series of the top 11 charts for 2011, brought to you in association with Bank of New Zealand.